It took a while, but Resident Evil Village finally got some add-on content, just in time for Halloween. It's actually pretty good, introducing some of the spookiest moments in the full package of Village, and supposedly wrapping up the Ethan Winters narrative, as well as giving players the chance to get up close and personal with Lady D while playing as her during the Mercenaries. The biggest addition here is the ability to play in third person. During the main story, perhaps a sign that Capcom plans on going back to a hybrid of horror and action with future new installments. A lot of the effective Resident Evil 7 and Village stemmed on a claustrophobic contact between you and the enemy through first-person perspective. Of course, the games can still be scary in third person as you get the opportunity to see more of your surroundings, which in some ways heightens the feeling of dread because you can see all the madness lurking around you. I really liked the new additions and felt that they were worth the time and the wait for any big fans of these current Resident Evil installments. So let's start with the Shadows of Rose DLC campaign. Shadows of Rose is full of surprises, as well as some predictable moments and settings as you return back to Castle Domatresque and the infamous haunted house in search of a cure to Rose's plight. The best thing I can say about this mode is that the tension and freakouts are back. They really dialed up the creepy factor in this DLC, and there are a few moments where I had legit shock and anxiety, being nearly backed into a corner with nowhere to escape to. The gameplay feels more like Resident Evil 7 in my opinion, with fewer enemies, but a good amount of puzzle solving and exploration. The environments are very familiar as you're basically just revisiting the areas you already know from the main game. There's a remodeling of a few NPCs, as well as the inclusion of a maze in the house, but that place was already kind of a maze. Overall, my favorite sections were probably the puzzles and just the panic of survival, as the combat isn't too much different even if it is in third person. I beat the Shadows of Rose on Hardened in about 3 hours, and I felt that it was a bit longer than I expected it would be, but it felt just about right. The only complaint I have is that the ending of the story is the exact same as the epilogue from the main Resident Evil Village story, and despite the fact that modders have already discovered Ethan's face, and seemingly confirmed that he's the one alive at the end of this chapter, I don't know why the developers continue to make things ambiguous here, unless they have more in store for us with the next mainline entry.
Yeah, I get it. Fuck you.
The point is, this bonus chapter makes Ethan's sacrifices feel worth it, and it makes the village a bit more haunting and a bit more replayable than it already was. In the Mercenaries additional orders, you get 2 new stages and some new challenges, unlocks, and of course, the chance to play as the meme that is Chris Redfield and all his boulder punching glory, as well as fan favorite Lady D and her tall vampire energy. You also get to play as Heisenberg with his very unique skill set of just throwing projectiles. Having more characters for Mercenaries is something the game could have had at launch, because that's what Mercenary should be, otherwise it would just be Mercenary. Playing as Chris is exciting because you can just go around punching everything, crushing and stomping the werewolves and lighting them up with his arsenal of explosives and his fully auto rifle. Chris kind of turns things into easy mode if you know how to use him. But each of the new characters also have some trade-offs, such as they can't heal as fast as Ethan, and you need to build up damage in order to use their ultimate buffs. If you want to play with more precision and urgency, then Ethan is probably the best character, as he still presents a great challenge. If you just want to destroy everything in sight, then any of the other cast members will bring a lot of enjoyment. Lady D slicing sadistically with those 9-inch nails is a lot of fun, and gives the players just what they wanted. She doesn't exactly step on anyone, that's more of Chris's thing. But she does run up and chokeslam fools, so that's a nice touch. Lady D doesn't make any other appearances in the Shadows of Rose DLC, which is kind of a letdown and a missed opportunity to explore more of her backstory. But it's also wise, you could say, not to milk her too much. And of course, having the Duke become a villain is a nice touch. Beating the challenges in the new Mercenaries also gives some new weapon upgrades for the campaign, though I'm not quite sure how much of an added effect these do at the moment, but it's more bang for your buck literally being included in this nice little DLC package. If I had to score Shadows of Rose, I'd give it a strong 8 out of 10, just like the base game. The idea for Village was to make it a little shop of horrors, with craziness all around. The Shadows of Rose is just like that, with weird stuff all around in third person.
Too late to turn back.
That's entertainment! I thought you'd be more of a fighter. Right. This is time to shake things up! Enough with the dilly-dally. Finish this!
Don't worry, Dad. I've got this.